You did it. You became the person you said you'd be. It happens on an ordinary Tuesday, which is the cruel little joke of it, that the biggest moment of your life shows up wearing the same gray clothes as every forgettable day before it. You're standing in a kitchen that's finally quiet, holding a coffee that went cold because you forgot to drink it, and it lands on you all at once. You did it. You became the one you used to talk about like a stranger you admired, the person you swore years ago you'd turn into someday, and nobody tells you what that costs. Rewind. You're 26. It's 2 in the morning and you're sitting in the parking lot of a job you can't stand, in a car that smells like the fast food you ate alone again, and you say it out loud to no one. One day, I'm going to be someone I'd actually want to be. You don't write it down. You don't have to. The sentence carves itself in, somewhere behind your ribs, and it stays there, quiet, for years. That's the ticket. Everyone gets one. Almost nobody cashes it in. But there's a problem. Becoming that person isn't something you win. It's something you survive. And the first thing it asks for is a body, specifically the body of the person you are right now. Nobody tells you that the version of you sitting in that car has to die so the other one can show up. They put the after photo on the billboard. They never mention the funeral.
The first death is comfort. You start getting up at 5, not because you're inspired. Inspiration burns off by the second week, but because you made a promise to a person who doesn't exist yet, and you'd rather let almost anyone down than him. So the warm life goes first. You stop sleeping in. You stop watching the 3rd episode at midnight. You stop saying yes to the easy Saturday that bleeds into an easy Sunday, that bleeds into an easy decade. You trade all of it for dark mornings that feel like nothing, that produce nothing you can point to, that ask everything from you and pay you back in faith. You stop recognizing your own mornings. You tell yourself that's the point. Some nights you're not sure. Then it costs you people. Here's the thing nobody warns you about. The friends you have right now love you exactly as you are, which means they love you exactly the way you swore you wouldn't stay. So the moment you start to change, something goes quiet in the group chat. You order water. You leave early because 5 in the morning comes whether you slept or not. And they tell you they're happy for you. They say it at the bar with a smile that doesn't quite reach the top of their face. Happy for you. They say it again the next month, a little flatter. They say it the month after that to your back. Your closest friend, the one who was there before any of it, starts texting less. You tell yourself you're both just busy. Then one night he says the thing, half a joke, all the way serious. You think you're better than us now. You're not. You'd give anything for him to see that you're not. But you can't unbecome yourself to make him comfortable, and he can't watch you leave without flinching, and so you both just fade. One of you stops texting first. You realize in March you haven't heard from him since the fall. You don't call. You're not sure which of you that says more about. Then it costs you the person who loved the old you.
Because there's always someone who fell for the version of you that stayed, who liked the slow Saturdays, who liked that you were always reachable, always there, never somewhere else in your own head chasing a person they'd never met. And you change, and they feel it like a door closing in a house they thought was theirs. They don't say, don't grow. They say, I miss you, which means the same thing, gentler. They tell you they can't keep waiting for you to arrive somewhere you keep moving the address of. They leave, and they're not even wrong to. You sit in your car in a parking lot afterward, a different lot, a different night, and you don't cry. You just sit. The radio plays a song you don't know. You can't remember how to drive home. Then it costs you your pride in pieces, because becoming who you said you'd be means doing it badly in front of everyone first. You walk into rooms you don't belong in yet, and your voice shakes when you finally speak. You put the thing out into the world, and it's clumsy and small, and somebody who knew you when leaves a comment just to remind you that you used to be ordinary like them. You tell yourself it's working right up until the day it isn't, and then you start over, and you tell yourself again. The reaching never stops feeling like reaching. You just stop needing it to feel like anything else. And then, because this is always how it goes, you almost quit. This is the false floor. 1 season, maybe 2. You let it all go. You sleep in again. You answer the group chat. You call it being realistic. You call it being mature. You call it, God help you, being responsible. Like the dream was a young person's indulgence, and you've simply grown out of it. And the relief is enormous. Coming back to comfort feels like coming home. For about a month, it feels like wisdom. Then it drops. Because comfort will always disguise itself as responsibility if you let it. And one ordinary night, you catch your reflection in a dark window, and you do not see someone who got realistic. You see someone who got tired and called it a decision. The relief curdles into something colder. You understand, standing there, that you were never resting. You were quitting slowly enough that it wouldn't feel like quitting. And the sentence from the parking lot is still there behind your ribs, exactly where you left it, one day. Except now it doesn't sound like a promise. It sounds like an accusation. So you start again. And this time you finally understand the real cost, the one hiding underneath all the others. It isn't the mornings, it isn't the friends, or the love, or the pride. It's that 20 years is going to pass either way. That's the whole thing. That's the fact that finally moves you when nothing else could. 20 years passes whether you spend it becoming someone or spend it rehearsing the reasons you couldn't. There was a nurse who sat with the dying for years, who held people's hands in the last weeks they had, and she wrote down what they confessed at the very end. The regret almost every one of them named first wasn't a thing they'd done. It was the courage they never found to live their own life instead of the one everybody expected of them. Researchers kept finding the same shape in the numbers. In the long run, it isn't the risks we took that haunt us. It's the ones we were too comfortable to take. Nobody lies there at the end grieving the leap they tried and missed. They grieve the door they walked past every single day for 30 years and never once opened. You're not at the end yet. You still have the door. That's the only real advantage you will ever be given, and you finally use it. And then, quietly, the way it always actually happens, you become him.
There's no confetti. There's just a week somewhere in there where it's beautiful, where you catch yourself in the middle of doing the exact thing you once described in a parking lot, and you almost laugh out loud at how strange it is to be standing inside your own old sentence. You look at your life and it matches the promise, line for line. And for 7 days, you feel like you cashed the ticket and beat the house. For a week, you think becoming yourself is the most beautiful thing that ever happened to you. Then you look up, and the room is full of people who never knew the old you. That's the cost they keep off the billboard. You arrive, you actually arrive, and the people who would have been proudest aren't there to see it, because the price of becoming this person was leaving the place where they could still reach you. The friend who faded never saw it. The one who loved the old you is loving someone else now, someone who stays. Your family talks to you a little carefully these days, like you're a guest who used to live here. You got everything you said you wanted. You got it on a summit, alone, looking down at a town that doesn't know you climbed. And here's the question you turn over at night, the one with no clean answer. The person you used to be, the one you killed to get here. He wasn't all bad. He was softer. He was more there. He answered the phone. He sat in the slow Saturdays and never once checked the time. Some nights you honestly can't tell whether you saved him or betrayed him, whether becoming who you said you'd be made you more yourself or just more useful. You tell people it was worth it. Most nights you believe it. The nights you don't talk about. Rewind, one last time, 26, the parking lot, the car that smells like a meal you ate by yourself. You make a promise to a person who doesn't exist yet, and you have no idea, none, what you're signing for. And if someone had read you the full invoice that night, every line of it, the mornings and the friends and the love and the strange, lonely quiet of actually getting the thing you asked for, would you still have said it out loud? You would. That's the part that scares you. Knowing all of it, you'd say it again. Because there's only one thing worse than becoming the person you said you'd be. It's the other ending. The one where you're 50, in the same kind of car, in the same kind of dark, and that sentence is still sitting behind your ribs, still unspent, still whispering, one day, to someone who finally, quietly, stopped believing it would ever come. You became him. It cost you almost everything you used to be. And knowing that, knowing all of it, you would still rather pay than spend your whole life holding a ticket you are too comfortable to